What is up, everybody? I'm Dr. Ray Gorman, and in this presentation, we're going to talk about the new model of client management in physical therapy that is evolving beyond in person sessions. And by the end of this, I hope that you see that you'll no longer need to rely solely on being in person to generate revenue within your business and to get client outcomes. Let me first start with a little introduction and talk to you about my journey and why you should even care to believe me that this model works. I'm Dr. Ray Gorman, and like many of you, my journey started in the performance space, in the fitness space. I started doing CrossFit around 2008, and I coached until about 2017 and really fell in love with fitness and always wanted to learn more about strength and conditioning, programming, and knew that I eventually wanted to blend the two of performance based care and some sort of fitness option once I graduated PT school in 2014. Now, I started my journey in outpatient orthopedics and moved into sports medicine. And I remember one day walking into the clinic and thinking, is this what I'm going to do my entire life? Am I going to walk into the same building every single day, see the same patients, see the same archetype of clients? And I was really just dissatisfied with my career at that point. So in 2015, I actually opened my cash based clinic, and I literally had a table that I just set up on any open space in a gym floor that one of my friends had owned at the time. That was a game changer for me because it revitalized my love for the profession. It showed me what was possible working with the clients that I wanted to work with. Um, and that really started my journey to where I am now. In 2016, I began working with clients online through a company that I was contracting with. And then in 2016, again, later in that year, I started to blend the two experiences with in person and remote at the same time. Now, my journey in business has been helping build businesses of all sizes, with the largest being a business, an education business that we built up to $3 million per year, literally from idea into creation. Now I help people like you break out of the hustle and grind of the service provider time trap, and let's get you unstuck from spending every day in your facility so that you can make more money in less time. Physical therapy service is outdated, right? Like what we're taught in school, it sucks. And that's not an offense to the education system. The point of school is passing the boards, justifying treatment for insurance companies, and mostly built for in person because that's how the model was designed. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably noticed this fairly early on. But this led me to start asking, like, what if there was a better way to manage these performance-based clients, one that was truly driven by results? I think a lot of people out there say that they're results driven, but then their only option to manage clients is by seeing them in person and trading time. To me, that's just kind of like putting lipstick on a pig and calling it something different. So that kind of led me to being out of alignment, right? The first thing was that sessions equaled revenue. Time equaled revenue. In the insurance world, there was a volume component that I honestly kind of thought would go away when I went cash. And it actually kind of did me a disservice to get my clients better in 3, 4 treatments. I know that that sounds bad, but from a business perspective, that's the reality. Volume was still key. We just needed less of it. Now, what if all they needed was access to me, no visits? I didn't really have anything to like offer them that compensated me for my time, that was able to give them access, was able to give them programming. I felt out of alignment of like, you're already doing 5, 6 hours of training per week. What if you don't need more volume? Yikes, that kind of left me stuck. Low volume ultimately meant less data. When I moved into cash, I was having less weekly interactions with my clients, which meant I was missing out on more data collection points. This became an issue. Once I started being able to add in a virtual programming mechanism, I went from 1 data point every week, maybe every other week, to 3, 4, 5 data points every week, and I could start to identify trends much smoother. So I pivoted. This led to the creation of what I now call the retention programming model. Finally, a results-based option that benefited both my clients, my clinic, and was in alignment with me as a provider. No longer did we separate in-person sessions from virtual programs, we blended them. And the best part, we did it without using templates. We made them completely custom to the client, all within less than an hour of management total per month. Here's how the system works. So you still do your in-person assessment, but that kind of goes into 3 unique pipelines. We maybe have somebody that starts out in person, and at some point in time, maybe that's halfway through the plan of care, a quarter of the way through the plan of care, they go into a blended option where we add a virtual mechanism that we call a prescriptive exercise program. Now, once we're done with that in-person process, we keep them on the PEP, prescriptive exercise program, and we manage them fully remote while we finish that phase of rehab where the client feels good, but they don't yet have enough capacity to return to the things that they love. Now, most of my clients were in this middle pipeline where they went from assessment directly into a blended client care management model that was in person and a virtual program at the same time. And then they continue that journey to a remote option. Now, this one happened more rare, but it is an option where I would take somebody from an in-person assessment, determine that they did not need to come in person to my clinic for follow-up or for treatment, and I would put them straight onto a remote program. This would be somebody with really load management issues, maybe some sort of tendinopathy, something where there wasn't a lot of in-person stuff that I felt like I needed to do, and I didn't need to sell them sessions just to make money in my business. There is a 4th option on here that we do help clients build, and that's a fully remote pipeline where we teach you how to take your in-person assessment, make an asynchronous virtual assessment, and then deliver an asynchronous remote program. So I want to note that here as well. Here's how the PEP works, right? So a client has a fitness program. Maybe they're a runner, a triathlete, a jiu-jitsu athlete, a CrossFit athlete, a power lifter, an Olympic weightlifter. They're already getting fitness programming. So it's important to note that what we offer is not a full encompassing fitness program. We then have this area of opportunity that occurs where either an injury happens or a performance plateau happens, and we can use the PEP, we can use our process to address injury or break through that plateau. So you'll see what happens on the other side of that area of opportunity is the PEP gets added and layered in conjunction with the client's program. It does not necessarily replace it. This goes on for as long as needed until that orange line takes over and we can phase out the PEP. Now you might be wondering, what does digitalization do for you? It gets your time back. So a blend of in-person and a work from home option was excellent for me. It gave me flexibility and it gave me the opportunity to travel while still collecting revenue, to control my schedule and only treat 3 days a week. It really gave me a lot of options. This one was huge. It made my business pandemic or recession proof because I had flexible processes installed that made the transition of working with my clients from in person seamless. And so I remember one time my clinic literally flooded, right? Like the streets around me literally flooded. What I was able to do was for that week, I was able to convert all my clients into an online mechanism, and I was still able to get them results. And we just did a trade of what we would typically do in person for online. It also gave me the opportunity to increase my revenue. Something that service-based businesses like physical therapy often struggle with is adding recurring revenue in a way that doesn't continue to strap you and tie you to your schedule. So we typically see a lot of people that come to work with us, they're selling a recurring fee for like a 1 hour in-person visit. That's great until your schedule is kind of clogged with all of these low value sessions and you can't get your time back and you can't go get new clients at a higher price point. What our model allows you to do is it allows you to create an offer where your clients have increased access to you and ultimately extends the lifetime value of that client. You're also able to deliver more value in less time. Your high value visits come at a high time cost. A digital management option allows you to scale your service without increasing time in your facility. Now, here's some of the numbers, some of the potential value implications. It's not uncommon that we see people kind of in this current value of $2,000 for a client that they sell into working with them for, let's say, a 10 visit package. Now, what we would do is we would sell that 10 visit package, we would stretch it out over maybe a longer period of time, and we would add 6 months of programming to that journey at, let's just call it $300 to make the math easy. We've now almost doubled the value of that client, and we've created a mechanism to double it without doubling your time like other models would cost you to do. So what does this process look like? You might be looking at this list and say, hey, that's kind of what my process looks like right now. What we teach isn't a full 180 of what you've learned in school. It's a system of how you take the things that you've learned, how you combine them into a mechanism, into a system that actually allows you to quickly and efficiently convert clients from in-person to a digital mechanism. So I hope that this presentation was helpful to give you a quick overview of our model. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please reach out on Instagram at Ray Gorman DPT. Shoot us an email at ray@engagemvmt.com, or you can find us on our website at engagemovement.com. We look forward to hearing your questions, comments, concerns, and we invite you to book a complimentary strategy session with us should you have not already done that. Have a great day.